All right, let's move on to the next bowl on Saturday, the LendingTree Bowl.
Oof.
Hopefully, after bowl season, none of us need to get in touch with a lender. Rice taking on Southern Miss in Mobile, Alabama. 5:45 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Southern Miss is a 6.5-point favorite over under 46. Rice into bowl season with a 5-7 record. They got there because of there wasn't enough 6-6 teams, and they had the best APR standing, which looks at like academics and graduation rate. They're playing a postseason game for the first time since 2014. I imagine they'll be fully motivated, and I also think Southern Miss will be motivated. They won their season finale to get to 6 wins. They're also making their first bowl appearance since the 2019 season. These programs are actually really familiar with each other because they were both in Conference USA from 2005 to 2021 before Southern Miss left for the Sun Belt. They actually played last season. Rice won at home 24-19. Both teams, a lot of uncertainty at quarterback. You never know who's going to line up under center for Southern Miss. It should be low now based on the past month, but you'll get Frank Gore Jr. is a stud back there running Wildcat. He'll throw it too every once in a while. He threw 3 touchdown passes on just 6 completions.
And I don't think those are designed. I don't think those are designed. I think he just does it on the fly.
Yeah, someone will just shoot out on a go route, and they also have a really good. Southern Miss is a really good receiver, but a really unsteady passing attack, which might be welcome news for a Rice secondary that is very vulnerable. I mean, we all remember Club Lit beating them 56-23 at Rice or whatever it was. So maybe the Rice defense can hang there. They want to kind of slow the game down, grind it, shorten this game. They have questions at quarterback themselves. It looks like as of now, your boy, TJ McMahon won't be available. He might. I don't think that's confirmed yet, but he's been hurt. They went 5-3 with him starting, 0-4 when he didn't, including 3 straight losses to end the season when they scored 34 total points across those 3 games. Padgett only completed 50% of his passes in 2 starts. Doesn't have the running ability that McMahon has. Does have a rocket arm. So we'll have to attack this really aggressive Southern Miss nasty bunch defense. It's really good in the secondary. We'll have to attack them downfield because they're going to try to get turnovers, but they also are a little vulnerable to explosive plays. I'm just not sure if Rice is the team to exploit them through the air or on the ground. And this one might just come down to turnovers, though. I mean, Rice turns it over more than – they had 30 giveaways on the year. Only Northwestern had more, with 31. That could prove disastrous against Southern Miss. Ball hawking secondary led by star safety Jay Stanley. So, I mean, if a 7 pops in the market, I might get tempted by, Rice in a game with a total sitting around 45. I also would lean under, but hate going under in bowl games, especially with all the turnover potential variance here. Southern Miss also will throw their fair share of picks. So this is a tough one. A game that I'm not really looking forward to. Way down on my confidence rating from a spread perspective. If I had to say, I mean, it would be the Southern Miss defense will have the best. Southern Miss will have the best unit on the field with their defense, and then maybe it just comes down to Jason Brownlee, their stud receiver, and Frank Gore Jr. is awesome, just breaking enough explosive plays to get this done. What do you see here?
This number is too low. This is a number I make 7.5. SP Plus makes this 11.5. So I'm even short on what the almighty SP Plus has it at. I mean, this number should be higher. And I think we just don't have a really high ticket account. Nobody's really paying attention to this bowl yet. But I just told you about a bowl game in SoFi that has Cam Ward and how he can't protect the ball. Let me introduce you to Rice football. 30 fumbles this season. 30 fumbles. No one has fumbled the ball more than the Rice Owls this season. And when you're talking about havoc,
30 fumbles and 30 giveaways.
It's absolutely unbelievable. Now, we don't know if it's Wiley Green, TJ McMahon. I mean, there's like 4 quarterbacks, right? And the injuries were an issue down the stretch, and they did just one of their final 5 games for Rice here. I mean, the team was struggling, and they just kind of APR'd, which is amazing because Rice is a really tough school. They APR'd themselves into this bowl. And, you mentioned the nasty bunch defense, 10th in defensive havoc nationally. That comes from 102 tackles for loss this season. They just fell behind Liberty and Clemson in that area. That means that Southern Miss is going to be in the backfield on every single snap. That is bad news for the Owls, who have fumbled 30 times. So The defense is what makes this bet for Southern Miss. I mean, I can go to the other side of the ball. We could talk about Frank Gore Jr. He's going to get 20 plus rushing attempts unless he goes out into the flats and he decides he wants to throw it downfield. This Rice defense is 127th in defending rush explosiveness. So if Frank Gore decides to hold on to it and run, chances are he's going to get over a 15-yard run here. So I don't see an avenue for Rice at 6 or 6.5 or 7. I think it's 7.5 or higher. You're starting to maybe do more gambling, but the number needs to be higher. So we'll see what happens in the market.
Yeah, I think I'm actually starting to agree with you. The more I look at my profiles, especially if Paget starts, and I'm seeing here, Rice head coach Mike Bloomgren confirms Paget is getting the first team quarterback practice reps in preparation for Saturday's Lending Junior Bowl. TJ McMahon has not practiced this week, and I think McMahon is their best option by far at quarterback because he can bring a lot with his legs too. And they went 5-3 when he started, and like I mentioned, 0-4 when he didn't, and they just couldn't score down the stretch.
That spread that I have at 7.5, that's with McMahon. I mean, you put Paget or Wiley Green back there, it's a different story.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Paget. So yeah, I think it's going to be tough sledding for Rice here, assuming Southern Miss shows up, which you never know. They're playing Rice in a bowl game, but I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Will Hall, and they haven't been there since 2019. He's trying to get his first bowl win. I think
we didn't look up the merch for this one. Like, do they get a loan? Like, what do they get? You got to look that up.
You get a good interest rate.